Students, how are you? Let's have part 2 of the revision for psychology. So let's start. I'm having here the gender study, and remember the gender study is the study differences between what males and females, of course, and how they develop. Let's have here a revision about the cases. I have here Jen collects survey data that indicates that students who spend more time preparing for the AP test tend to score better than other students. Jen can now conclude that. Okay, Jen here made a survey. Then he collects here the data that indicates that students who spend more time preparing for the test tend to score better than the other students. Now, Jen conclude what studying improves exam grades. Relation there is a relationship exists between studying and exam grades. A significant correlation exists between studying and exam grades. Anyone who does not study will do poorly on the exam. Better students tend to study more. What do you think? Do we have here an evidence that the people or students who really studied have better grades to have the significant correlation? What do you think, guys? Jen has established a relationship or a correlation between the two variables, studying and getting good grades. So, since she has not conducted an experiment, we don't have here any experiment. She just make a survey. She does not know whether a cause, and she doesn't know if we have here a cause or something. So here it proves what? It does not know if studying improves exam grades or not. So we don't have here a significant correlation. Can't be determined. So even if the correlation were significant, but we do not have any guarantee that here if anybody didn't study, he will do poorly in the test or not. So Jen's correlation doesn't tell us the better students study more or not also. In fact, it just tells us what nothing about better students, not even what's meant by that term. So the answer, what do you think, guys, here? So the answer here that there is a relationship between studying and exam grade. For this question, Sandy scores a perfect 100 on a test that everyone else fails. Okay. If we were to graph this distribution, so this is what? Symmetrical? Do you think so? No. Normal? No. Positively skewed? Yes, this is positively skewed. Why? Because Sandy's perfect score is an outlier and will therefore skew the distribution. So, since it's a high score in a distribution of what the distribution of very low, very low scores her friends, so the distribution will be positively here skewed. Okay, some psychologists here consider Stanley Milgram obedience studies to be unethical. Why? Because of which unethical here, because which of ethical consideration here? Improper sampling procedure, risk of long-term harm, clear significant purpose, clear scientific purpose, or debriefing. Remember Milgram's experiments? It was here involving considerable risk of long-lasting stress and anxiety of for her subjects, of course, for the target here, the target population. The scientific purpose of Milgram's study is not disputed, and he debriefed participants and provided for anonymity of individuals' results. However, this case is not very important like the first and the second case. Okay, we have to know this comparative study and compare between the behaviors of different species, especially animals. When I talk about cognitive, primarily here interested in thinking. When I talk about biopsychology, however, related to biological processes, especially activities in the nervous system. Gender, of course, difference between males and females and how they develop, social, human, and social behavior. And I wrote for you those also. Control, altering conditions that influence behavior. And I have for the positive use to control unwanted, yes, this is very important. Positive use of psychology and the negative use of psychology. Positive use control unwanted behaviors like smoking, here like tantrums. Negative use to control people's behavior without their knowledge. By that, we finished the revision of the psychology. I hope you understood this. If you have any question, please send me. Okay, let's complete. I want to show you something before I finish this revision. It's about Milgram. We took this before, but let's have an overview about this one, about Milgram's experiment on obedience. So, in 1963, what happened? Someone called Milgram conducted here a series of